Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and a very warm welcome back to the SMRC eSports Racing Summer Championship. My name is David Christie. Joining me tonight, as always, is the one, the only Alex Goldschmidt. We join you live from the virtual recreation of Elkhart Lake's wonderful own creation, Road America. Alex, how are you?
Very, very good this evening, David. Thank you once again for being alongside you in the virtual commentary box. And as Spinal Tap once said, we're ready to crank the volume up to 11 here at Elkhart Lake, which is located midway between the cities of Milwaukee and Green Bay. And it's also a FIA Grade 2 listed circuit, opened back in 1955. And it's had a lot of pedigree over the years. You know, the amount of series that it's held, the Rev Group Grand Prix, the NTT IndyCar Series, the WeatherTech Sports Car Championship has the Continental Road Race showcase here as well. And it looks like it's going to be a clear and sunny day, 21 degrees out in the air and then 32 degrees. But one of the good things is that this track is going to be pretty exciting. A lot of camber change, a lot of undulations, so peaks and troughs. They're going to have to really do their very best to keep these cars on the asphalt, because we've seen quite a few times when we were checking in on free practice that quite a few people had a few offs, is the term I'm going to loosely use here.
That's a very polite term, Alex. Some spectacular offs they had as well, I'd like to point out. But yeah, it's myself, David Christie, and Alex Goldschmidt joining you live for the next hour and a half. And what a night really we have in store for you. I personally have driven this track a few times on iRacing. A very, very fast track, and it's very easy to lose control of the car. And these GT4 cars, they've not been without their woes. We had the early on tyre issues for the BMWs there, Alex. They seem to have been resolved. They seem to be on a much more even parity with the Porsches, and I wonder if we're going to see that resolve itself into the action tonight.
Yeah, I mean, it could be a bit of an equaliser, because you know, there's parts on this track, David, that you have to be fully committed. And if you don't get it right, especially when you're going downhill, because the car's going to be carrying that little bit more momentum. And I think, what was it? I think we saw one of the Horseman have a big un off of turn 6, I think it was, coming down the hill. Or was it turn 1? But
yeah, he's certainly done the no claims bonus on that one.
Well, the protected no claims bonus has clearly gone out of the window on that GT4 car. But yeah, it could be a bit of a game changer. It could help the equilibrium with regards to BMWs. But that depends on what happens on the two. You know, we've got a double 30 this evening, David. And one of the biggest things here is there is a 76% chance of rain, even though it's clear. There is that chance with the, you know, a 7 kilometre an hour wind.
I wondered about that, and I think what that actually means is that's the humidity. I think that's, so it's 76% humidity. So it's a clear day. I don't think it will have any chance of that, because I made that mistake last time, and I think it was one of our wonderful chat that actually pointed that one out. So thank you very much for that. So yeah, sorry, Alex, you were saying.
Yeah, so with the downward momentum carries that you've got through here at Road America, this could really, I think, maybe favour the BMWs. The BMW is a heavier car, let's not forget. It's got nearly 100 kilos more than the Porsche. And because the engine is front-mounted, that centre of gravity could change in the favour of the BMWs this evening. But it's one thing to predict that. It's another thing to see it unfold altogether.
Yeah, and that's what we're going to look for tonight. Let's have a quick look at the point standings then for the championship. Look at that, as if by magic. There we go. Lewis Ward then topping off the championship then with 159 points from Jack Eyre, 157. I can't believe we're 3 rounds in and we're still just 2 points between the top two. Incredible stuff. Fraser Williamson in 3rd place with 146 points. Sam Corson in 4th with 130. Ronald Grossman, 114 points. And then Jordan Gronkowski he'll be happy with that. 111 points, still in with a shout. Andrew Two Thumbs Fresh Hopley with 110 points. Rory Bryant down at 104 points with 8th place, alongside Michael Weddle on 100. And then Martin Buchan, a driver that we've spoken about at great lengths, alongside the E-Team Brit Cinetic BMW series that he's taken part in as well, 93 points. And in 10th place, Kieran Smart with 88 points. Peter Butcher in 12th place, John Lang in 13th, Adam Brown in 14th. Vic Covey he's really been struggling through the midfield early on in the championship. 15th place for him. Sam Harper in 16th. 17th place for Scott Smith. David Simon with 18th place, and then further down you have got 19th place Sam Spinell, Mark Cuthbert, Peter Moore, Tom Jones, Anil Singh, Grant Angus, Chris Knox, Ian Erasmus, Gary Brown, and Jacqueline Chalmers as well. Neil Ferrier in 29th place, Cameron Ritchie, Jeff Wentworth, Sean Dobie, Stephen Graham, Raymond Davis, Logan Hanna, and poor old Blair McConaughey. We love Blair, do we?
Yeah, I was just about to say I might have to trademark that saying, Mr. Two Thumbs Fresh.
I've nicked it. It's mine now.
Well, that's kind of what I kind of expected. I thought it was going to happen at some point in this season, not that early. But I think really the biggest surprise I think for both of us was after what happened to Fraser Williamson at Silverstone last time out.
Yeah.
And he dropped. He was on the podium and then got a black flag or something like that. Had a black flag penalty, had a slowdown, and it drops him all the way down to 13th. And if that hadn't have happened, he would still have been leading the standings. As here we see, hopefully we'll be getting some on-track action very shortly. And we're now 6 minutes into the 15-minute qualifying session. There's Kieran Smart in the 39, and Kieran has been one of the more prevalent BMWs in the series thus far, hasn't he?
He certainly has. I've been a little bit distracted there because one of the new features that we've just figured out tonight, or rather I've just figured out tonight, is we can actually bring you highlights. So what you've noticed in the past 3 rounds is that we get so wrapped up in all of the amazing action that goes on, and occasionally we do miss things. Occasionally we miss quite big things. Not anymore, because we can now actually go back. So for instance, Grant Angus has had... Yeah, it's safe to say Grant Angus is lighting up my information board here, and we can see why. He's really struggled, and I think this is... that's not really gone too well for him in qualifying here, Alex.
No, I think that's probably turns 2, 3, and 4, and he's probably had a good one with the wall there. Turn 1's a bit of a danger zone here as well. You realise that the American film sort of references might come out tonight, because I think Grant Angus will probably say, "Remember me?" If anyone remembers Days of Thunder with good old Cole Trickle.
Oh yeah, hit the pace car.
Yeah. I want you to hit the pace car. Let's hope no one does that tonight. There's Fraser Williamson, currently top. Now, for those that might have seen his car for the last 3 rounds, looks like it's had a bit of an overhaul with regards to the paintwork, because that is very, very catchy, isn't it?
Let's maybe just forget the fact that I forgot to load the paint file last time round. That's what it is. So unfortunately, half the field had white cars because yours truly forgot to load in the paint scheme. But however, well on form tonight. We're pulling out all the stops. Everyone gets all their proper liveries, and it's only fair because a lot of these drivers have real world sponsors for their sim racing as well, so we have to make sure that they get the equal effort and attention that they get. And in fact, while we're on that, let's look at that, some beautiful paintwork, just so you can admire it a little bit more there, Alex.
It's and you can see how hard he's hustling this car. He's currently on provisional pole with a 1 minute 25.823. Now he's aborted that lap, so he'll have. And just by seeing some of these onboards, as you can now see on the BMW M4 GT4, obviously BMW made a recent announcement that they have been testing the brand new M4 GT3 due out in 2022, and I must say that's looking very, very exciting indeed.
It is, but my heart is still with the AMG, that big long bolty shoe thing. That I love that so much. That's my favourite GT3 car of all time. Actually, it's just such an iconic machine.
Well, it sounds like a Messerschmitt when it goes past as well. It's like when you hear a Corvette, you hear a Corvette.
Yeah.
When you hear a Mercedes-AMG GT3 go past, you know what it sounds like. And it's exactly how they sounded like back in DTM. You could tell that Audi was a bit more high-pitched. The BMW was a bit of a screamer. And then you heard the Mercedes just like, and you could feel the vibration through your feet whilst at the circuit. But Kieran Smart, currently P12. Jack Eyre, who's currently just 2 points behind Lewis Ward at the moment. He's in P4. Now, where is Lewis Ward? Down in P7 at the moment, 1 minute 26.819. But Andrew Hopley is doing a great job as Fraser Williamson is the first driver to go sub 1 minute 26. He's done a 1 minute 25.82. Everyone else, Ronald Korsman, who is in second position in the number 90 Porsche, he's about 0.4 of a second behind.
Yeah, that is thoroughly impressive so far. It always staggers me just how and we see this in quite a lot of the championships that we do here. Obviously, we see it in the console championships, and both myself and you do the E-Team Brit. The championship as well, and what we normally find is that the pack are like so close together, and you get that one outlier who is just devastatingly fast and has this incredible gap over everyone else. However, what we find during the race is that is almost irrelevant because they're swallowed up by the rest of the pack and they can't take advantage of that pace.
Well, as they say, David, and I think you and I definitely know about this, it's times for show, points are to go. And when it comes to racing, a very different proposition altogether, as we've already seen in the past 5 races. And for those wondering, we did have, when we had our season opener, way back when, it feels like an eternity ago, doesn't it?
It does.
We were at Okayama back in mid-May, and then we... it was mid-May for the sort of supposed qualifiers, but we started things off on the 12th of June, and then we went to Spa-Francorchamps a couple of weeks later. Silverstone was a couple of weeks ago, and now here we are on the 24th of, on the Thursday, and we're getting ready to do, 2 races here. I mean, Andrew Hopley has done a really good job. I mean, the BMW seems to be flying around here, and one of the mainstays within the BMW infrastructure when it comes to customer support racing teams is Turner, and they were the ones that iRacing actually approached. And I mentioned this when we started back at Okayama, that iRacing actually went to the Turner race team workshops and literally digitally scanned it pixel for pixel at the Turner workshops, and that car's really come alive. I mean, unfortunately, Andrew Hopley is the only one that's really got the measure of the BMW at the minute, because Chris Knox and Kieran Smart are down in 11th and 12th, as Fraser Williamson looks to be getting some heat. The tyres on the 718 Cayman GT4 MR Club Sport. That's a mouthful and a half.
I've got to be honest with you, Alex. I think from the looks of it, a lot of the drivers are either just maybe taking some time to think about this, or they're maybe done with qualifying, because at the moment we've got, 2.5 minutes left to go in qualifying, and we've only got 3 cars left on the track. Fraser Williamson possibly just pulling it out of that run there, and indeed he does. He goes back to pit lane. So yeah, it's a bit of a strange one, really. I think that is perhaps what we're going to see on the results there.
Yeah, very true. I mean, I've just seen that Grant Angus, Sean Doby and Vic Covey, because we've got, looks to be a 25-strong grid this time round at Road Atlanta, have yet to set a competitive lap time. But also when we go into, this qualifying session won't decide the actual grid for race 2, because we'll have effectively the top 15 having, starting reverse on race 2. So effectively, whoever wins the race will start from 15th on the grid. So that's the inside of row 8. But yeah, I think Jacqueline Chalmers, hats off to her. The number 3 Porsche has gone 17th in this qualifying session.
Yeah.
So that's a really, really good performance. And I think probably it's just to sort of have a bit of a sighting lap, because she knows now she's got an opportunity just to get herself ready for the race, which will, we come into the last 60 seconds of this session. and it is pretty close between the top 7. Pretty much a second between them. But I think by doing this now, she's just getting herself into the zone and sort of like saying, actually, I might be able to break a little bit later here. So there's a bit of a strategy call. So you might not necessarily, you might be the only one out on track, and that gives you the perfect opportunity to just look at things and see how the car's feeling before you go racing for the first time this evening.
Well, I'm wondering here, I'm having a look at Jacqueline as she goes round, and I wonder, she's not pulled into pit lane, so this could be it. She could be just a way to fire in one final lap, and this is going to be the last action of the session here. And we'll certainly see how that unfolds. She is just, seems to be just touring around the track just now, though.
Yeah, I was just sort of like, I thought I heard the Top Gear theme tune accompanying this as it would happen. You know, she's doing like 60. She's doing like 60 miles an hour.
In fact,
now she's escaped into the pits. So
that is it then. So there are your results for qualifying in just a second as we wait for them to come up. There we are, qualifying results then. Fraser Williamson on pole from Ronald Grossman, Andrew Hopley in 3rd place, 4th place to Jack Eyre, 5th place to John Gronkowski with Martin Buchan in 6th place, Lewis Ward in 7th, and Michael Weddle in 8th place. Rory Bryant and Peter Moore line up on row 5, 9th and 10th. Alex, do you want to take us through the rest?
Chris Knox in the 888 and Kieran Smart in the 39, that's row number 6. John Lang in the 48. And the 68 of Sam Corson. That rounds out the top 14 positions. Ahead of Sam Harper and Scott Smith in the 52 and the 101 respectively. Great effort from Jacqueline Chalmers in the number 3 Porsche, starting from 17th. We'll have the 24 of Tom Jones alongside. Anil Singh and Cameron Ritchie in the 42 and the 27 round out the top 20. Ahead of Logan Hanna in the 9. Raymond Davies in the 28. Vic Covey in the 7. Grant Angus in the 23 and the 159 of Sean Dobie, with the bottom 3 not setting a competitive lap time in qualifying. But it's not to say that they will have an opportunity to get through to the field, as Lewis Ward and Jack Eyre, just 2 points separate them. But I think really if Fraser Williamson does exactly what he's done before, and let's not forget he took the victory at race 1 at Okayama, he did the double at Spa-Francorchamps. Okay, he didn't have the greatest run at last time out at Silverstone, David, but this time, I think really we're now getting into Fraser Williamson's territory, and this is where it could really change things once again.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely spot on. We're about 15 seconds from the pace car making its way off. From the looks of it, now I think that might be a full pace lap that they're going to be getting from this, so we'll see how that one goes. But the car's about to make their way round. Fraser Williamson and Ronald Grossman side by side at the top of that grid. That is going to be absolutely intense, and Jack Eyre is going to want to get a move on if he wants to play a part in this.
Yeah, very true. Because when you look at it, that Lewis Ward will start from row 4, and that is not easy when you come into this. And you've had the likes of Williamson, Grossman, Hopley, Eyre, Gronkowski, Buchan, and all the others being a lot closer to the championship leader than they might have thought in qualification. But this is going to be a 30-minute sprint. These guys and girls are not going to let each other breathe, and that's where the key thing is, because we only have one more single 60, and it's our season finale at Bathurst at Mount Panorama. That's one.
Just you saying that just brings out all these goosebumps for how excited I am thinking about that.
Yeah. I think, as AC/DC might say, we are on the highway to hell, but we are on the highway to Road Atlanta here in America. I really looked forward to this particular round as well, because it's the only North American round. We have a South American round at the Autodromo Jose Carlos Pache at Interlagos on the 20th of August. But this is one that I've really looked forward to, seeing these guys and girls actually have an opportunity to really put the cat amongst the pigeons. And yeah, I think it's just wait until we go lights out. Oh, we've had a spinner.
That's Scott Smith and Sean Dobie.
Oh, now that was not part of the plan, and Scott Smith would have started in... Now let's have a look. Oh, Scott Smith has gone a bit wide coming out of the corner. He's put the power down. He's just lost the back end. Right.
So good. Not so good. Right, let's go back then, because we are about to go live here. And hopefully those guys can get themselves back together. Well, that's not the start you want, really, is it?
No. I think Scott Smith will... Scott was our Talk driver of the day last time. Talk Raceway driver of the day last time out. And myself and David will select another one from the rambunctious rabble of 25 GT4 cars, as it looks like pace car pulling in the pits. Yep. Coming round the final corner as Williamson will lead from Grossman. Now, will this be a clean start? I think we are off and away.
We certainly are. And what a jump from Fraser Williamson. 2 seconds already.
And he's not even gotten into turn 1. He's done a Sebastian Vettel. But look, Hopley is being passed by air for P3. And Ayres got past. The BMW trying to have a bit of a fight back. And he's gone side by side with the Porsche. This is really brazen racing between our drivers. And up the inside looks to be that's Gronkowski just behind Michael Weddle in 6th. Lewis Ward, Martin Buchan down to 8th ahead of Rory Bryant and Peter Moore rounding out the top 10. Chris Knox and Kieran Smart. Now, we've had an incident, and is that Jacqueline Chalmers? No, it's Logan Hanna.
That is Logan.
So Logan Hanna again being in the walls. That's a real shame for the number 9. But Williamson isn't getting away here, David. The gap now is 3/4 of a second. And Gronkowski is battling away with Jack Eyre. Andrew Hopley's dropped all the way down to 8th. Lewis Ward up into 6th position. As there is Sam Harper from Missed Apex Racing. Unfortunately, looks to be limping the Porsche home.
Yeah, he's had a bit of an incident there. We'll catch that in just a second. We'll try and stay with the action up front just now, though. This is amazing stuff. That gap now a second to Ronald Grossman from Fraser Williamson. But what a battle we have got up here. John Gronkowski, that is an amazing performance. Get himself back up into 3rd place and leading that train of 6, 7, 8 cars. Oh my goodness me, who was that going very, very hot into the first corner there?
That was Chris Knox. He's just dropped down a couple of positions. No, he's dropped all the way down to 15th as there were 3 cars in front. That was Sam Corson, John Lang. Oh! One of the Rethink cars into the barriers. That is Grant Angus, I believe, wasn't it? No, it was someone else.
That was Tom Jones, I think.
Yeah, so now that's a little touch on the back bumper of Jacqueline Chalmers. So they were battling. You can now see the rear end of that Porsche is completely second-hand.
So he's got back on and back to this battle then for 3rd place, because your leader is now almost a second and a half ahead of Ronald Grossman. Ronald Grossman now getting dropped and trying to get caught here from John Gronkowski, but he has got an absolute gaggle of cars waiting to catch up with him.
Yeah, looks like you've got Michael Weddle, who's now been passed by Andrew Hopley. Lewis Ward has got up into P5. It's nearly 3 abreast going into that particular corner. My goodness me.
What a move by Jack Eyre.
That was brilliant. Round the outside of Gronkowski there for P3. And Fraser Williamson, no surprise, as they've gone through turn 12. But he made the move, they came out of turns 10A and 10B. And Eyre was absolutely launching it past Gronkowski. He knew he had the opportunity. As here we have a few more. Oh no, Sean Doby, is that going to be? That's Vic Covey involved as well. Doby hits the inside barrier, and Vic Covey manages to recover a 360, but both a bit worse for wear after that coming together.
That looked a bit intentional, I've got to be honest with you. We've got Michael Weddle going off with track as well here. Let's have a look what happened to him. Oh, he just loses it on the curb and so close to lose that completely. Managed to get back on. But yeah, that was not very good at all. Back to that instant with Vic Covey there. That looked a little bit like, from my point of view, Vic Covey turning in there. Surely not.
Well, actually, I noticed something very, very slight. The back end of his Porsche stepped out and he lost it.
Yeah. That's
why he collected Sean Doby. Tom Jones in the 24, now in the pits, unfortunately. Fraser Williamson, in the meantime, he's been kept rather honest by Ronald Grossman. The gap's still about 1.5 seconds. Jack Eyre It's about 3.8 seconds behind this battle. But then you look a bit further down, and it's a four-way scrap now. Andrew Hopley has really come back into the thick of things. He's down in 6th place behind Lewis Ward, Jordan Gronkowski, Jack Eyre, Ronald Korsman in 2nd, trying to keep pace as Fraser Williamson puts in the fastest lap of everybody. 1 minute 26.42.
Look at
Scott
battle,
Smith.
Alex.
Yeah, Scott Smith has got Chris Knox going up the inside, and that's John Lang to the outside. And Smith drifts very, very wide. That's a brilliant move from Chris Knox. 2 in 1 through turn 1. That's a great move there. Absolutely brilliant from the BMW driver.
Oh, and a big moment for Cameron Ritchie here. He's crashed out. Let's see what happens. I think he's done it all by himself from the looks of it.
Yeah.
Oh no, he's caught a car.
Oh! That's Logan. Is that Logan Hanna again that's been involved?
I think that was Jacqueline Chalmers.
Well, Jacqueline Chalmers. Yeah, you're right. Well spotted. And that takes... Oh, now... That was not part of the plan.
Sam Harper as well. So 3 cars in, and that's a silly, silly accident to be happening, you've got to say.
Yeah, I think the thing is that with this circuit, it's not easy because, as I mentioned earlier, and here's Sean Doby, I believe. So we've got another replay here. Let's just see what happens.
Oh, it's already happened. He's off into the... Oh, and he's doing it again.
Oh, no!
What on earth? Why would you rejoin like that?
That is... Right, as the Australians would say, if anyone remembers with Scott McLaughlin and Garth Tander at Bathurst one year, remember the redress? Yeah. So, yeah, that was just a real shame.
Yeah, but on your point, yeah, the redress from Supercars, that was... that was almost identical.
Yeah, but then the thing is that Sean Doby, I'm sure, will be getting more than just a stern telling off from the clerk of the course after that one, because that will definitely have a protest thrown in. I'm sure of it, because that has just destroyed Logan Hanna's race again, and Logan Hanna is having absolutely no luck whatsoever.
Yeah.
And one of the good things is that we don't have to sort of feel sorry for Blair McConaughey because Blair is not with us this evening. We've only got 25 drivers, but look at the gap that Fraser Williamson has opened up over Ronald Korsman. It's nearly 2.3 seconds as we are only 7 minutes in.
I know. I've just noticed something on that last lap from Fraser Williamson. Now, he is pushing hard, but what I want to check is on those tyres, is he pushing too hard? We've seen it in other championships, in other races, where the lead driver is looking absolutely in control, and then suddenly something happens, and they just push that little bit too far. As Sean Doby goes again off the track. I'm not sure I like this ability to go back and check the instance, because it's kind of like, yeah, I wish we'd never really seen that.
Yeah, that's something I can't unsee now.
But yeah, lots and lots of action, especially further down the order there. Anil Singh having a great move on Peter Moore, and Peter Moore dropping through the rest of the field. Peter Moore was up into 14th place at one point, and it looks like he is now, who's that in front of him? That is Raymond Davies that he's going to try and get past as well.
Yeah, we've seen Peter Moore up at the sharp end, the top 10 earlier on this season, but like Spa, he had a bit of a dismal run. Silverstone wasn't a great one, as that is a missed apex car that's just thrown all the codes on the circuit. I think that's Anil Singh that's just gone absolutely hammer and tongs through there. That was definitely track limits, I think.
So what we saw was that was Jack Eyre taking over John Gronkowski. Now, I was expecting with the pace that Jack Eyre had to have cleared away from that, but he's not, because Jordan Gronkowski coming back at him now just 0.2 of a second behind that final podium spot.
Well, the last laps that they had, Jordan Gronkowski was a 1 minute 26.97. Lewis Ward was a 1 minute. Jack Eyre was a 1 minute 26.98. So literally, it's 1/100th between the pair, as it's a 1 minute 26.501 from our leader. And again, Gronkowski this time is actually quicker. That's by 0.126 of a second, and he was really looking menacing going through turn 1 as they go down. He's got him. If he gets it now, he's going to have the run through turn 3. He's made the move stick. That's a brilliant move from Jordan Gronkowski in the 33 Porsche.
Yep, and he's thrown him to the wolves because Jack Hare has got Lewis Ward just behind him, another championship contender. So this is really looking very, very interesting indeed. It is mighty, mighty close, and this is what I love about this championship. No matter where you look, there is always action and always battles going on here.
Definitely the case, but don't count out Mr. Two Thumbs Fresh. Copyright. Andrew Hopley is there waiting in the wings. He's only half a second behind Lewis Ward. Here's Kieran Smart. He's up into P9 now. He's got past Martin Buchan, who's got Sam Corson on his back bumper. And just up ahead, looks like Rory Bryant's having a good run of luck this time as well, as we've now got Chris Knox, Scott Smith and John Lang. This is the battle again for P12, but Chris Knox a couple of laps ago threw a doozy up the inside of turn 1. But this is where I think John Lang's going to have the real advantage. He's got the double toe from both Smith and Knox, but Smith looking to go up the inside of Knox to take 12th position. The BMW makes the move stick, and that's a great textbook move through into the approach into turns 10A and 10B.
Fantastic move there. And Tom Jones, having exited pit lane after doing his repairs, I'm not sure I'm going to want to see this, has immediately just crashed.
That sounds ominous.
He has immediately just crashed. Oh no. Well, it says he's crashed. I don't know if he actually has.
Well, look at Michael Weddle catching up to him, as you know. So effectively, Tom Jones is a back marker here.
Yeah.
He's coming down the hill through the complex, through turns 2 and 3. Now he goes through 4.
It doesn't look like it. Nah. So I wonder if my screen has maybe just decided to play up a little bit. So we'll. Yeah, he's still on. So obviously he hasn't crashed, but he's several laps down. But good to see Tom Jones back out onto the circuit here. We've got Peter Moore has went into pit lane. So obviously he's had damage. Now we saw him dropping through the field, and that's obviously why that's happened. So he's into the pits just now.
Yeah, that puts him down to P22. The driver that has made up the most positions in this race is Grant Angus in the number 23 up to P15 from P24. And there is the number 23 Porsche. About 13.6 seconds behind John Lang, but he's got a bit of distance between himself. Anil Singh in 16th, and Vic Covey, who's right on the back bumper of the number 42, is the 7, trying to close up through turns 10A and 10B. But it really just showed, that's close between Buchan and Corson there. And I think Corson's going to try and go side by side with Martin Buchan in the 35. And Buchan still keeps it, but Corson was looking ever so racy there as he, I think, just through coming out of turn 2 and into turn 3, Martin Buchan went a bit sideways there. Yeah,
but we spoke about that in the build-up through qualifying. Martin Buchan, were privileged to see him in other championships as well. We know he's not afraid to get his elbows out.
Or to go a bit Stig Blomqvist on everybody either. And that does not mean bashing door panels in. It's like literally throwing caution to the wind. Oh, Peter Moore off, and that is off of turn 4 and heading
that's
towards
after he went into pit lane, Alex. So he is, I think he's maybe decided to call it a day for himself.
Well, I think in many respects, you know, some of the drivers will do that. I mean, Logan Hanna is in the pits, and Logan will look to come back in race 2. But if Grant Angus stays where he is right about now, that is reverse grid pole for race 2. But the drive that we're seeing from Jordan Gronkowski, he's actually trying to get away from Lewis Ward, and he was over a tenth of a second quicker. Andrew Hopley in the BMW was quicker than Ward, and now Jack Hare is coming back into this. And I think, did I spot a little bit of bodywork missing on the back end of Jack Hare's car?
Quite potentially you did. Let's have a look. In fact, he's away down the back there, so we'll switch to the far chase cam.
No, it's that paintwork.
It's that wonderful paintwork, obviously.
It's that wonderful paintwork. Good to see it in glorious full vision.
Chris Knox then has jumped the group of Scott Smith and John Lang. Then he is up into 12th place there. Now he is trying to catch up to, is that Sam Corson or is that one of the back marker cars? I think that is Yeah, it's definitely not Sam Corson, so that looks to be potentially
Tom Jones.
Is it Tom Jones? Or
No,
it's
Tom
Sean
Jones,
Dobie.
Sean Dobie. So
they're going to want to be careful because Sean has been off the track several times on the lead up to this, so it could compromise the action of Scott Smith here. But we'll see what happens with that.
I think Scott's going to just take it easy and down this long straightaway. He's going to have the run. The BMW pulls past, and out of it comes John Lang as well. So good work by, I think, Sean Dobie to actually just sort of like think, well, I've got to run my own race here. These guys are battling for position. Yeah. There's no point me getting involved. And the first thing a driver will say, well, I don't want to get involved because of the fact it could ruin my next outing. And obviously penalty points and any reprimands that they might get. But Lewis Ward still trying to keep Jordan Gronkowski honest in the battle for P3 as we hit the halfway mark here. So over 15 minutes completed, just under 15 to go here at Race 1 Road America for round 4. Wow, we've seen some great battles so far over the past 5 races, and race number 6 here, David, is no exception.
Wow, now what has happened there? Because John Lang has got to the front of that group. Scott Smith has got to the front of that group. Was Chris Knox, was being the word. Chris Knox is now back to the back of them in 14th place.
I think he's had a bit of a moment there, to be completely honest with you. Going into turn 1, it's not easy to keep people at bay, as we've seen it before, where he's managed to use that to his advantage. But I think he's made a mistake, and then both Smith and Lang have managed to pounce past quite easily. But also looking down at the bottom part of the top 20, well, John Lang is now going to overtake Scott Smith.
Scott Smith has just been left like he's standing still there.
Yeah, but then also look at Chris Knox, who's going to try and... If he makes that 3 wide, you are crazy. Oh, that's brilliant stuff. Coming into turn 10A.
Scott Smith is going to try and outbrake them into the corner.
Oh, he's not going to do it because that's a great move there by John Lang to just keep it around, keep it at the outside.
Jack Hare has had a big off here. A huge moment for one of your championship contenders on the main straight there. Takes a little bit of rear damage, and that's going to ruin his rear spoiler and put Jack Hare all the way down to P11 there. So we didn't quite catch. We'll just rewind a little bit and see exactly what happened with Jack Hare. We'll rewind it just a touch there. Did he just lose it on his own?
Well, the thing was, he was a bit too curb hungry coming through turn 12 there, David, and what that did is it spat the back end out a good one, and it put him near into a 360 on the main straightaway.
And this is Grant Angus going wide at the corner, and yeah, that's not too bad, but wow, what a moment for... I mean, Jack Hare is a huge contender in this championship.
Well, up until that point, he was de facto second coming into this round, behind Lewis Ward. As now we see Sean Dobie going through turns 2, 3, and into 4.
Saying he's had a huge.
Oh, he's gone off. Oh no, that's through. That's coming through into the S's, and he's just lost it and gone backwards into the barrier.
That is frightening. Can you imagine coming over that blind crest and seeing that car at the side of the road there? It's good job.
It's very much the reverse of Paddock Hill Bend.
Yeah, so. And he's done a fantastic job because what he's done is he's used the relative timing box to find out what cars are nearby. Tom Jones has had a bit of a moment as well here. Let's see, that's on the run down from that hill there, and again it just looks like too much curb.
Oh yeah, turn 2, he definitely nailed it quite well.
In fact, and then that's the same place.
It's the same place. Crikey. He got away with that one. He really got away with that one.
Whew. Right, Fraser Williamson then. Race leader, 5.7 seconds in the lead. John Gronkowski has a bit of a gap, 0.6 of a second over Lewis Ward there. And Andrew Hopley with Michael Weddle in 6th place. Now, Michael Weddle has kind of just crept his way up into this battle here.
But he's not the only one. Look at Kieran Smart. Kieran Smart up into P7 from P12. He's done a cracking job in that BMW, and he's leaving Rory Bryant standing still.
I'm just actually wanting to see who the biggest winner of this is. It's actually joint at the moment with Grant Angus and Vic Covey, 15th and 16th place respectively. They've both gained 8 places.
Well, that just goes to show us Coulson and Buchan at each other's. Now, that was a brief flash of the lights from Martin Buchan there, I believe. I just saw out of the corner of my eye. That's a psychological tactic he's trying to use there. But I know for a fact that Sam Coulson will have the horse blinkers on and looking straight ahead at what he's doing, and just keeping the odd occasional glance in his mirror as they hurtle their way through turn one. But yeah, I mean, so far it's been absolutely brilliant with some of the battles, and I'm seeing that Ward is still keeping in touch with Gronkowski. And there's Cameron Ritchie down in 21st and actually keeping out of the way. Yeah, very good job there from the 27.
All they're trying to do is just make sure that they're out of harm's way for that one. But I think we're starting to settle down now. We've got a little bit of a gap through here. We've got 10 minutes left to go in the session. We're now into little pockets of action, so we'll do our best to try and do that. But Scott Smith really does seem to be quite vulnerable on some of these corners. That BMW loves getting into the slipstream and loves putting him under pressure.
Yeah, I think it's been once bitten, twice shy, and Chris Knox just seems to be going back for seconds. Once again, but this has been a great battle, and one of the good things is that we've got a minimal amount of BMWs in this field, David. Let's not forget.
Yeah.
And for all four, the four that I see are running in the top 14, and that's a testament to people actually going to one car, treating it like you would do in real life. Because if you went to a team and said, "Well, yeah, I'll do it, but you got to swap the Porsche after round 3," they'd be like, "No, you're running with a BMW. Keep what you've got." And Chris Knox, taking a lot of curb there, but still keeping 2 wheels on the track to get the run on Scott Smith. And here is Jordan Gronkowski. Lewis Ward has closed that gap. He's absolutely scythed his way through it. That's a brilliant job from the current points leader in the number 98 Porsche 718 Cayman.
Some fantastic battles all the way through the field here. That Jordan Gronkowski and Lewis Ward battle, I think, is going to go right down to the wire. These two know that it's all about the points, so I don't think we're going to see any stupid moves. But I'm going to touch the desk here and hope that we don't actually see it.
I'm going to do it again.
Just in case. But the thing is that we also got Rory Bryant in the mix here. Now he's just half a second behind Kieran Smart there. He's got a lot of pace in that car and could very well catch up with them.
Yeah, very true. It's really good to see that. Well, Rory Bryant again has started closing up. We saw that Kieran Smart was making him look like he was standing still, but then Rory's decided to get the bit between the teeth and start firing back. So whether he's been conserving the tyres, but here comes Lewis Ward yet again. This is down. This is brilliant. This race here is they're around the far part of the circuit. Lewis Ward we go on board with at the moment, and just to see how hard these drivers are pushing. 130 k's. Now that is through the S's. They've just gone. They're going to come around a little bit further towards the other part of the circuit, but just these onboards, they're pushing nearly 140 miles an hour in places. I'd like to sort of see how much the input they're putting in, as you can see, using the brakes and going up another gear, up to 3rd. We're going to start building the acceleration up to 4th gear, just like maxing out the rev range. And just another great shot from Lewis Ward. And again, Gronkowski seems to swing the pendulum one way, as Martin Buchan and Sam Coulson again now side by side pretty much for P9, and looks like Buchan's got the run on the number 68, who's gone up from 14th to 9th place at the moment, as Jack Eyre, obviously with his issue earlier on, now is down 10 places down to P14 as Coulson.
Sorry to jump in, Alex. It's been absolute disaster for Vic Covey. He has had a monumental moment and lost several places. He was running, I believe, up around about 14th place, and he has dropped all the way back down to 20th place. In fact, I think Vic Covey has retired. I wonder if he's got damage on that car.
Yeah, Sean Dobie's also pitted, so it looks like we're down to 21 runners and riders, the last of which is Tom Jones, who was 4 laps off of the leaders. And here's that's a big That was like, I thought that Porsche was on a pogo stick for a moment there as he was bouncing off the wall.
Jumping over the curbs there. What a performance though. I mean, let's get back to your race leader, Fraser Williamson, Alex. 7 seconds ahead of your nearest competitor. Now, Ronald Grossman is not slow, but out of this entire field, to get a 7-second gap and consistently be firing in those lap times. Let's have a look actually at the lap times that he's been putting in there. In fact, I'll bring it up over on the right hand side just so we can actually see it. But look at that on the left hand side there. Best lap 1:26.420 and his last lap there 1:27.286. So he has just been so consistent with these times.
Consistency is key, and you know we saw that we saw an absolutely enigma-based drive from this guy last time out at Silverstone before the troubles that befell him. But Lewis Ward again. Now Gronkowski is, I think he's really he's feeling the pressure. But he's really now there is a missed Apex car just up ahead who's just got out of the way. I think that might have been possibly Sam Harper that has got out of the way there. But Gronkowski and Ward, they have been locked in a stalemate all race long. And would you believe it, ladies and gentlemen, if I told you that we are literally, we're about 4 minutes and 20 seconds off the end of the race.
This past half hour has just completely flown by. Watching this battle here with Sam Corson and Martin Buchan. Martin Buchan lines up in the slipstream, moves to the left hand side, and it's going to be a battle of the braking zones down in towards this right hander. It's never going to work, and it's going to be Sam Corson that holds on to that position against the luminous pink of Martin Buchan there.
Yeah, through turn 6 and turn 7. Now they're on the run up to turn 8 as Gronkowski and Ward through turn 10A and 10B. Now into the right at 11 after. Now this is where the momentum carry really does show its hand. And this is where you can get it really wrong, as we've seen through Jack Air earlier on. But Gronkowski and Ward still not letting each other breathe. And at the moment, the top BMW is Andrew Hopley in 5th place. Currently in 25. But Gronkowski doing all he can to shake off Lewis Ward as they head through their way down towards the far part of the circuit. But again, Gronkowski just seems to have the measure of Ward. Every single time the latter tries to make an overtake, Gronkowski doesn't let him pass.
Thrilling stuff with just 3 minutes left to go.
Barton's got. Now I've just seen that Martin Buchan's in the pits. What's happened to Martin Buchan?
Martin Buchan is in the pits. You're absolutely right. Now, is it fuel?
That's what I was thinking.
Or has he got... No, he couldn't have got a drive-through penalty. Surely, did he actually stop? Let's have a quick rewind here. We'll have a look. Or has he just driven through the pit lane? How very strange for... well... Now, what it could be is that there's an automatic incident limit on these the sim. So let's just have a look if we can get the incidents up off tracks. There we go. No, Martin Buchan's only got 7, so I've got no idea what on earth has prompted him. We'll get a chat to him and we'll find out what on earth happened there. But anyway, he's back onto it. Fraser Williamson making his way back through traffic, and that battle for 3rd place is still raging on, Alex.
Yeah, they're not letting it. They're not letting it up at all, and this is what you want to see in a sprint race extravaganza. But I mean, hand on heart, Gronkowski. We've seen him at the sharp end. We've seen him suffer the highs and lows. I mean, especially race 2 at Spa-Francorchamps. His lowest point score. Just 5 points, but he's 6th in the championship, and this will help. When you look at Fraser Williamson, will I think possibly after this race be resurgent to being back at the top of the standings, because you look at where Jack Air is, and Jack Air is in 14th place. Lewis Ward is currently 4th, so it really does. I'm just having a look at the points at the moment. Thank goodness I've got my SMRC eSports regulations in front of me. Always handy. Well, I mean, 4th will be 23 points for for Lewis Ward, and then it'll be 35. So just looking at the gap is currently 13 points between Ward and Williamson.
Well, let's see if our magic points app has updated itself. Now, this could go very, very wrong, so we'll just we'll trial it and we'll see. I know it's still on the current one just now.
Still on the old one, so it'll wait. I'm. You know what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a little bit of calculation as I did last time, because I thought it was a dead heat for standings between Lewis Ward and Jack Eyre, but Lewis Ward was 2 points ahead because it was because Lewis Ward got 5 points for pole position back at Silverstone. So that's where I sort of got thrown a relatively big curveball in my direction. Yeah, as we're about to hit 0 on the clock here. And what a 30 minutes it's been, David.
Yeah, it's been an absolutely fantastic race. So this is going to be the final lap then for Fraser Williamson. It's been a dominant display. He's very likely to extend that interval and extend that gap to 10 seconds over Ronald Grossman. But Ronald Grossman is no slouch as well. He'll be happy with the good haul of points. But what a performance from John Gronkowski. He has had all that pressure.
Oh, Fraser Williamson! Oh, now that was that Grant Angus? Grant Angus going off at turn 10B. Oh my goodness, he'll get the checkered flag. Will Fraser Williamson in a car that's going to have to crab it home? Oh my goodness!
He's got
and the
three
left
wheels.
front wheel comes off. Oh, as he crosses the line. Would you believe that?
That is absolutely incredible stuff. He still wins with 3 wheels on his car. Great win for Fraser Williamson.
I'm sorry. I'm just going to have to say it. 3 wheels on that wagon.
Yep.
Right. That's brilliant. And by my brief calculations, this now means that Lewis Ward leads the standings. If it does work.
That's a big call.
No, he does. But by 1 point. 1 point.
What do you forecast?
No, actually, it'll be more than that because they get 5 points for pole position, don't they? That means that Fraser Williamson will be leading by 4 points.
Oh, so what's Fraser Williamson by your calculation standing on then?
185.
185,
Lewis Ward 182.
We'll see if that's what happens with that. But a fantastic result, ladies and gentlemen. That was race 1. And we'll take you through the results in just a second as we watch the final cars make their way over the line. I'm kind of lost for words after that one, Alex.
Yeah, so I am. And really, that was such a great race. But I cannot believe that the luck of Fraser Williamson was on his side. It was like the last corner, winning by 5.828 seconds here at Road America for the first race of round 4 of the SMRC eSports iRacing Summer Championship here in Elkhart Lake. Ronald Korsman in second, Jordan Gronkowski having a great run to third place, Lewis Ward and Andrew Hopley making it a 4-5 for Meraki Racing, with Andrew Hopley the leading BMW. Then it was Michael Weddle having a good run in sixth ahead of Kieran Smart, another BMW in the top 10 ahead of Rory Bryant, Sam Corson, John Lang with Chris Knox, Scott Smith having a great inter-BMW battle, which was really good. They finished 11th and 12th respectively ahead of Martin Buchan, Jack Eyre and Grant Angus. And David, it's your turn to run through the rest of the standings, buddy.
I was absolutely miles away there, buddy. Where did you get to? Sorry.
15th, so
15th,
from Grant
right.
Angus onwards.
Thank you very much. 16th place then for Anil Singh, 17th for Raymond Davies, 18th place for Sam Harper, Jacqueline Chalmers in 19th place, Cameron Ritchie in 20th, Vic Covey in 21st after that disastrous few last laps, ends up retiring from the race, as does Tom Jones, Sean Dobie, Peter Moore and Logan Hanna. Quite a high attrition rate for that last one, and I don't think that our points have actually worked on that one. Let's have a look. Will they stay the same? Yeah, they do. So we'll get that fixed. We'll sort that out. But we have got a very, very quick break, ladies and gentlemen. When we come back, we will be live with race number 2. Welcome back then, ladies and gentlemen, to race number 2 here, round 4 at Road America of the SMRC eSports iRacing Championship. Joining me, as always, is the man, the myth, the legend himself, Mr. Alex Goldschmidt. How on earth did you enjoy that race, Alex?
That was a belter. I think the next one's going to be even better because we've got a reverse top 15, haven't we? And that, from my perspective, means that anything can happen. And as we both very well know, David...
It usually does.
Yeah. So I think from my perspective, the amount of action that we've had, we're getting towards the halfway point of the season, and there is still no let-up. There is no quarter given. No one is giving up. And that's what I like about this. A big shout-out to Dave Brown, Dave Simon from Team Fordzilla, who's just recently moved up to Darlington. He said, "Hi, Alex." He said it's posted on the SMRC eSports YouTube channel. "Sorry, I couldn't make tonight. Just moved up to Darlington from Essex." And I was really tempted to say, "Why? Why have you got up to Darlington?" As you can see, the results from Heat 1. Obviously, these will be these are provisional, pending any sporting.
Now, am I right in saying that's the correct point, Alex? That is
the correct point. So 35 for first, 30 for second, and effectively, because Fraser Williamson also got pole position, that becomes 40 points as a result of that.
So a fantastic result, though. I mean, this is the point in the championship where all of these results matter, Alex.
Yeah, very much the case. I'm trying to remember where did Lewis Ward actually start? He started outside of the top 5, so he didn't get any points for quali.
Yeah, that's not the best, is it?
But to be honest with you, you look at it from this way: every single person in this race, irrespective of where they have been finishing. I
have no idea who Fred is. Never mind. Right,
Dave. Well, I think we're about to get things underway for our top 15 reverse grid race 2 here at Road America. So,
on you go,
shall
Alex.
I start?
Yep, go for it.
Let's go for it. So, Grant Angus is your reverse top 15 pole position driver in the 23. Jack Eyre in the 13 alongside on the front row. Then it's Martin Buchan and Scott Smith, Chris Knox and John Lang on row 3, Sam Coulson and Rory Bryant, that's row 4, ahead of Kieran Smart and Michael Weddle, rounding out the top 10. Rethink Racing number 17 Porsche. Andrew Hopley, Mr. Two Thumbs Fresh, and Lewis Ward, his Meraki Racing teammates, round out the top 6 rows.
John Gronkowski then in 13th place, with Ronald Grossman in 14th, Fraser Williamson in 15th, and Anil Singh alongside in 16th place. Raymond Davies alongside Sam Harper for 17th and 18th, Jacqueline Chalmer and Cameron Ritchie 19th and 20, and then towards the back of the grid, Vic Covey alongside Tom Jones 21 and 22, Sean Dobie and Peter Moore, and at the back of the grid is going to be Logan Hanna. There we go then, we are ready to go. And the cars make their way off for their pace lap.
Yeah, a bit of a long pace lap here at Road America. Not as long as Spa-Francorchamps, I must completely admit, on that front. But, some of the tracks that we're going to here, David, is... I'm just so looking forward to the rest of the season. I can't wait until our next one.
This is going to be an absolute firecracker. It really is, just purely because you look at the drivers that are up the front there. They are no slouches. Jack Eyre, I think, is going to make his way into the leads. And then you've got Martin Buchan. If he can get up front, he's got a lot of pace. But then you've obviously got the likes of Fraser Williamson and Ronald Grossman going to have to try and make their way through that field.
Yeah, very true, as they head through turns 2, 3 and 4 and head up towards the fearsome S's before they head to the double right at turns 6 and 7. We've seen some great overtaking moves, and people have come out of T5 and headed down towards the S's themselves. But yeah, I think it depends now. Jack Eyre, well, obviously there's one thing that we will have to talk about post-race, which will be the Talk Raceway Driver of the Day. And also the fact is that both are some of our previously voted Talk Driver of the Days, including Sam Harper, including Scott Smith, I think have just got their Talk Racewear gloves, haven't they?
They certainly have, and it's a wonderful, wonderful little bonus prize that we do as part of these race weeks here at the SMRC iRacing Summer Championship. And it doesn't always go to the drivers that are at the front of the field. We kind of cast our eye over the entire race. There's some strong contenders for that first race for sure. But it's, yeah, I think we'll leave it to this race to see what is going to happen, because the car's now coming towards the back half of the circuit here. And I think we are just about ready to go racing, Alex.
Yeah, so heading down to turns 10A and 10B, the site of where we nearly saw three wheels literally be on the wagon of Fraser Williamson when he took the victory just a few moments ago. So it is Angus and Eyre on the front row, with Angus on pole position. Buchan and Smith alongside. Ladies and gentlemen, pace car in the pits. Round turn 12 we go. Let's see who gets the jump. Will it be a clean start? They pull out of the final corner. We are off and away in racing, and it is nearly three abreast. Chris Knox up the inside of Martin Buchan, heading towards turn 1 for the first time. Angus looking up the inside of Eyre, and it is absolutely brilliant. 2x2, hurrah, as it's three abreast. Chris Knox up the... That was brilliant stuff from Chris Knox. Absolutely timed that one to perfection, and he's got himself up. Look at... And there's been major drama. Major drama.
Michael Weddle is down as well.
John Lang. Well, was that Anil Singh? Anil Singh was involved, I think, possibly. Well, John Lang. Let's have a look back at this. And, yeah, Weddle's gone straight on. And I think that might have been Anil Singh that was at the back end of the field, or possibly John Lang. But look at where Scott Smith is. Scott Smith is...
Yeah, that's incredible. So Jack Eyre, as I said, straight into the lead. I never saw that coming. I never saw Scott Smith getting into second place. And look at that gap, 1.5 seconds in climbing over Martin Buchan.
You know the biggest thing that surprised me? Chris Knox making it 4 wide on the first lap. That was absolutely... That was... I don't know what to call it. I've run out of superlatives and we're only 1 minute and 30 into this second race.
So at what point, Alex, do you think we play the Jaws theme? Because in P10, Fraser Williamson, he is looking mighty menacing.
Oh, Chris Knox has had an off. I think Chris Knox has had an off, and that is allowing Kieran Smart. Yeah, he's run off track there. And he's kept the foot planted, and he's still stayed behind Martin Buchan. That's brilliant stuff to keep himself in the hunt for P3. And he's closing. You see how close Scott Smith is to Jack Eyre.
Oh, no. Andrew Hopley has crashed. Andrew Hopley is all the way down now into 20th position. I think he's just been caught out here.
He's gone up the inside, and that was Rory Brighton. He was alive, wasn't it?
It certainly was, and that has all gone on as we see cars off in the back.
Oh, there's more drama behind Jacqueline Sharman. I think John Gronkowski, our third place finisher from last time out. Jacqueline's tagged him. Going a bit too hot into turn 1.
That is so unfortunate.
And looks like both of them have lost their rear wings as a result.
Well, it's all kicking off, and we're only 2.5 minutes in. I've got a feeling the replay function is going to be very busy tonight.
Oh, I think so. So's the clock of the course after this one.
Kieran Smart with a move on Martin Buchan thinks better of it, but that was looking mighty fast there.
Well, let's have a look at this statistic. The BMWs outvote the Porsches 3-2 in the top 5. But Jack Eyre has just put in an absolute storm of a lap. Now, here's another replay. And that was going through into turns 10A and 10B. That looks like Grant Anker's bunny hopping. Oh, now, that was Ronald Korsman, and I think that might have been...
Was that Sam Corson?
Yeah, Sam Corson, as Weddle and Moore get past. So Michael Weddle making a bit of a resurgence after that off-track excursion.
God, it's all going on, is it? Yeah. John Gronkowski too greedy with the curb on that final turn there. And I think he's got big damage because he's away to do it again. He's going to take... Oh, he is not having fun. That is a direct result. He's trying to get the car spun round. and he's away again. That is an absolute disaster. And there's been a huge moment between, Hopley has had a monstrous moment at the top of the hill. 3 cars out, and that is a monstrous crash between Andrew Hopley, Tom Jones and Sean Dobie. And Sean Dobie struggling to get that car back out there. Apologies for the to and fro there. Wow, this is intense action going on right now.
Keep your eyes on Kieran Smart. He's about half a second behind Martin Buchan. But then look behind. The Jaws theme needs to be instigated because Fraser Williamson is coming through the final corner right hot on the heels on Rory Bryant. And they're now going to go down into turn 1. Williamson toward the inside. Decides to think discretion is the better part of valour through turn 1 as they now go up the incline through into the left at 2. Now it starts going downhill here through turn 3. And you see that Bryant gets a bit squirrely coming through the apex. Williamson clearly on the back bumper through turn 4. Now into the S's before they hit the left at turn 5. And now I'm just seeing this battle. This is between, I think, 3rd to 7th. So Chris Knox is at the top of this train. Well, not even that. Look at Scott Smith as there goes Fraser Williamson. Sends it from absolutely nowhere through turn 6. Up on the inside of Rory Bryant and makes the move complete by the exit of turn 7. That is hand on heart. I never thought you could do that kind of overtake manoeuvre there, but Fraser Williamson has just done a perler.
I'm just watching this. Tom Jones here looks to have had a moment going into turn 1. And the back end of that car has just went round and around and around. John Gronkowski is back into the pits. He has had a race to forget. Meanwhile, back up for second place. Look at this battle. Chris Knox and Scott Smith fighting it out for second place. Scott Smith all the way down into to 3rd place here, because when we look at the live footage here, Chris Knox away up into 2nd place there.
Martin Buchan's got past him through for 3rd. And here's Kieran Smart. Fraser Williamson is not too far away from this battle. And now it's battle stations, it's red alerts here at Road America, to quote Star Trek there, if you will. But yeah, Chris Knox really did a great move, and Martin Buchan was quickly up the inside of Scott Smith through turn 1 as they come up towards the crest of the hill before they head down towards the S's. But Kieran Smart. Now, was there contact between him and Fraser Williamson? That is the key question here.
We'll have a look. Let's
coming up the hill. Yeah, he got a good run. No, Smart loses the back end. Smart loses the back end all on his own. So the BMW a bit tail happy. That's dropped him quite considerably and into the clutches of both Rory Bryant and Lewis Ward. Yeah, so Rory Bryant now keeping with Kieran Smart here, David. I mean, I think that was definitely that was a new Nomex change, virtually speaking, required for the BMW of Kieran Smart, as that's a great move by Lewis Ward, who got up the inside, and Fraser Williamson is now trying to go up the inside of Scott Smith as Martin Buchan tries to go up the inside of Chris Knox through the final corner. Williamson makes the move, and it's side by side for 2nd position. Martin Buchan's got the inside run. Look at the run that Fraser Williamson has got on the pair of them heading to turn 1. He's going up the inside of Knox for P3. That's a brilliant amount of manoeuvres there as Scott Smith, Kieran Smart, Lewis Ward and Rory Bryant have said, hang on guys, we want to play here too.
Wow, I'm absolutely speechless. And the bit that gets me, Alex, is how clean is this racing? How intense? Can you imagine being in that battle of 7 cars and absolutely duking it out? I don't care what you say about sim racing. This right here is real racing.
Yeah, and here comes Fraser Williamson. He's looking... Oh, that was a bit of a cheeky look up the inside of Chris Knox, who runs wide. Williamson's going to go up for P3. So he gets the move on Chris Knox. Scott Smith waiting in the wings. There's a little bit of argy-bargy between Lewis Ward and Kieran Smart. And Lewis Ward clearly not happy, giving a good old flash of the old headlights at the BMW driver. But at the end of the day, I think Kieran Smart had the inside run on him. And he's now flashing the lights again. He needs to stop flashing the blinkers and just get on with it. You don't win a championship by psyching out your opponents or venting your frustration. It's about the person that has the best controlled aggression, as Chris Knox, not letting Fraser Williamson get past. And here comes Scott Smith as they come down through into turn 12. Knox will have the inside line with the BMW this time. Takes a bit more curb, but gets a real good launch coming out of turn 1. Scott Smith trying to make it 3 wide into turn 1. Can't get through. Kieran Smart now on the back bumper of the 101. Gets a real good run coming through turn 1 as they go up the crest towards. And this is it, side by side between 3rd and 4th. Knox trying
there's
to
contact!
Slightest amount of touching there. And Chris Knox still hangs on. And it's every driver for them. This is brilliant stuff, and I'm sorry, Fraser Williamson.
Alex, we're not even 10 minutes into the race.
You said that this was going to kick off. It's gone off biblical here, David, because it's like a mushroom cloud. I've heard it over my back shoulder quite a few times as Fraser Williamson goes wide. He goes wide, and that allows Chris Knox to send it up the inside through turn 6, into the right at turn 7. I cannot believe my eyes right about now, because we have 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th and 9th all within probably about a couple of seconds of each other, as Kieran Smart trying to get past Lewis Ward for P8. The BMW's got the run on the Porsche. Wow.
This is absolutely incredible stuff, and Fraser Williamson flashing the lights again. Chris Knox, though, absolutely 100% has the measure of Fraser Williamson there right now, because what happened was Fraser Williamson just got frustrated, tried to fire up the inside. We'd seen him do it before. It was too hot into the corner, and Chris Knox says thank you very much and takes him on the cutback.
Well, that's a fair racing move, in my honest opinion, as Chris Knox now has the measure of Fraser Williamson again through turn 1, up the crest. This, I think, you wanted a brilliant tactical cat and mouse Tom and Jerry style race where you've got it right here, because that was another mistake from Fraser Williamson, because already Chris Knox got a gap of around half a second, and Scott Smith in the 101 now right up the back bumper of the 369 Porsche. Let's not forget Fraser Williamson won the first race, so that put him down in 15th position. But he's made the most positional games out of anybody. Along with that, the person that's made the next highest amount of positional games is Peter Moore. And if Fraser Williamson's not careful, David, he will lose out to Scott Smith if he keeps his frustrated aggression very much in it, and he's doing it again. It's I'm going to be completely honest. Chris Knox could have every right to sort of like say to Fraser, well, you ran wide. Yeah. I had the opportunity. I fired it up the inside, and so don't start flashing your lights because of the fact you're unhappy about it. There's no reason
for it, and I think that the race control may actually look quite disfavourably or unfavourably on Fraser Williamson, because it's not like Chris Knox is a back marker here. Chris Knox is a challenger for the race, as we see Fraser Williamson try to fire it up the inside here. That's going to put Fraser into 3rd place. But look at the run Scott Smith has got. Scott Smith is going to try and fire it up the inside, gets it on the brakes here, and Scott Smith moves up into 4th place. Chris Knox, though, oh my goodness me, up the inside, and is going to retake 3rd place. What on earth? Runs out Fraser Williamson wide. Fraser Williamson has to take to the escape road, and we're 3 wide here. There's contact. Chris Knox goes sideways, and that was, I think that was Ron Grossman that was caught up there. So there's all sorts of chaos kicking off here.
Scott Smith also drops down the order. If I'm honest with you on that particular move, I would leave that down to race control, because at the end of it, Fraser has, I think that I'm going to quote, there's controlled aggression, and then there is back in the old Attitude Era of the WWE, ruthless aggression, as John Cena once said. The ruthless aggression is coming out from Fraser Williamson, and if I'm completely honest, that is something he's really going to have to watch out for, as Rory Bryant is trying to fend off Fraser Williamson for P3. They've gone through the right-hand kink at turn 9 into turn 10A and turn 10B. Rory Bryant now keeps ahead Fraser Williamson, so it's another competitor. But look behind. Lewis Ward, Ronald Korsman and Kieran Smart are still keeping themselves in very much a contention for what could be the last step on the rostrum here, David.
I'm honestly speechless at how intense this racing has been, and again I'm going to apologise in advance. We've not had a chance to check further down in the order. We usually do try and cover everyone as much as we can, but that was simply the most incredible bout of racing I think we've had in this championship so far, with 7 cars in the mix, and it's not over yet. And make no mistake, Rory Bryant knows how to turn a wheel here. He is an incredibly accomplished racer, is on the board of staff at SMRC, and he loves a good fight. So Fraser Williamson has absolutely got his work cut out here, and Rory Bryant will not be giving up that place easily.
No, I'm just doing a quick mental calculation of the points so far between, as we're now going to see a replay. Here is Grant Angus, started on reverse grid pole and runs wide at turn 1, and now loses it. Comes back onto the circuit.
Oh! Wow!
Oh my goodness me, that was not what you wanted to go off and spin it back out, and Chris Knox...
just having a bit of an excursion, nothing really to report about there. Oh! He's into the pit lane. Chris Knox has retired from the race.
I'm wondering, was there left front suspension damage?
Well, that is a turn up for the books there.
Yeah, and he was battling for what was P3 as Williamson trying to go up the inside.
Oh, there's conflict!
Oh, contact between the pair! Lewis goes through, so does Honor Korsman, and so does Kieran Smart. I think the frustration has definitely bitten Fraser Williamson and the hiney quite considerably, and Rory Bryant was probably not wanting to be...
Let's actually have a look at this, because I want to see this in depth here.
I'd like to... Yeah, I think a closer up angle, if we can get it, would be...
Yep, of course.
So, yeah. So, into turn 1, Williamson sends it. There's the slightest of nudge, and if it's a rear-wheel drive car, you touch the right rear corner, it's going to send it spinning.
I think the thing is, though, is that I think that gap had closed off. I think that's what had happened there. Again, we'll go back here and just have a quick look. I think that gap had closed.
Yeah.
Well, no, you see...
It's 50...
Yeah.
It's 50-50, but the thing is that Rory Bryant, did have the right to close that off in some respects because he was the leading vehicle. But I don't know.
Control are going to be very, very busy tonight. That's all I know on that one.
Yes. That's really changed things around because I'm now looking. I was doing some calculations and it has changed. We've got 16 and a half minutes done, 13 and a half minutes to go. Look at where Lewis Ward is now. He's in 3rd place because he literally threaded the eye of the needle through there, but he's got Honor Korsman just behind him. There's someone just up ahead in one of the Porsches. As Rory Bryant's now in the pit, so whether
I think he's got damage. So we've got one of the cars off there as well. That is Sean Dobie, I think, who has had a race to forget. Gets a big old tank slapper on in that Porsche, and thankfully doesn't have anything to say about it. We've got Kieran Smart as well, and Kieran Smart is out of the race. Kieran Smart has lost the wheel, and that is going to be good night Vienna for Kieran Smart, who was at one point up into 5th place. So this has been an absolute disaster for him so far.
It's been for a lot of people. We've got more casualties than I think probably you and I both could shake a stick at. But Jack Eyre, after a dismal first race, now, he was in the thick of things. The leading BMW is Scott Smith, and he seems to be the only BMW in the field that is still running, and he's running P5, and he's got Fraser Williamson breathing down the back of his exhaust pipes.
It doesn't really bode well, does it?
Shark music, anybody?
Yeah, this is, well... But, again, Scott Smith knows how to attack in that car. He's what I've liked about it, and if I'm not mistaken, he got the Torque Raceware Driver of the Day last time round, was that he's developed so much with that car. He really, really has gotten to grips with it.
Right. Championship update between 1st and 2nd. You know how I said that Fraser Williamson was leading coming into this?
Yep.
By 4 points? the way things stand at the moment, because Williamson is down in 6th. Yeah.
Oh, no.
It changes again, and it means that as Williamson now trying to force one up the inside, well, he's going around the outside. If he tries to do that round turn 6, you're a brave man. He makes it stick. That gives him another point.
There was a little nudge there from Scott Smith, and Scott Smith, I think that was excellent racemanship, decides to let him get past, so well done to Scott for that. I think there was just a little bit of a nudge as Scott went in too hot into that corner, and they're going to have to get past the back marker there of Sean Dobie. In fact, no, that's not Sean Dobie, because he's into pit lane. But wow, what a race we've had already as we see the flash of lights there. And Fraser Williamson is pushed up there as he tries to get round that lapped car.
Yeah, and that's what you don't want. Scott Smith quickly gets past as Sam Harper. Now Sam Harper's been on the move, and Sam Harper's made up 11 places. Peter Moore has been like the stealthy assassin in this field. He's up 16 places from 24th to P8. I think that's the biggest positional swing we've seen in any race this season so far.
Certainly is. 16 positions that he's gained on that.
Yeah. But the championship, the virtual championship standings between first and second at the moment. Now I'm having a look. Now Jack Eyre finished in P14 last time out, so I'm going to do the maths as we go. He was on 157 coming into this round, so 14. So that puts him on 169 points. He is now leading this race, so 169 plus 35 as John Lang has a bit of a moment there in the Mist Apex Racing Team number 48 Porsche. So if he wins, that's another 35. You're not going to believe this.
Go on.
By my calculations, if Jack Eyre wins and things stay as they are now, he is clearly in the championship hunt big time. Because you got 35 points, you add that to 169, you get 204. And this is where it gets even more interesting.
I tell you what, who needs Carol Vorderman when we have you?
Yeah, but it gets even more interesting.
Go on.
Fraser Williamson will end up losing the lead by a single point to Jack Eyre, because it will be 208 for Eyre, 207 for Williamson, and 204 for Jack Eyre. So Lewis Ward will lead by a point after this round.
So he is. Fraser Williamson's going to be praying that Ronald Grossman and Lewis Ward come to blows just now then, because he's 10 seconds behind Ronald Grossman. I can't see that changing.
Not unless he can pull a magician's rabbit out of the hat. I don't know.
I don't know about you, Alex, but I feel like that now things have just sort of taken a big, huge, deep breath, and everybody's spaced out and decided to have their own little race here, and thinking, no, I'm not really wanting to fight you.
I think it's now about points conservation here, David.
Yeah.
And if I'm honest, if I was now, what I've got to do for around the next 8 minutes is to keep Honor the Horseman at bay, because effectively, what this would do is this would actually drop. This would actually drop Lewis to second in the standings. So it would put him from 208 onto 205, and that would put him 2 points behind Fraser Williamson. And then you'd have Jack Eyre just a mere point behind. And one of the drivers we haven't spoken about in this is Sam Corson. Now, Sam Corson finished 8th last time round. So he started 7th, and he's down quite a few positions. He's down 3 places down to P10 at the moment. So just had Callum Reid on the YouTube channel saying, just want to say, I love Raymond Davies, even if he is a lap down. Now, that's support mechanisms. That's support. You know, that's what we like. We like people just to sort of like have that sort of, you know, that great atmosphere. That's what being a fan of motor racing is all about. No matter who your choice is, you stick with them through thick and thin.
Certainly is, and a wonderful, wonderful little community that we're starting to grow here at the SMRC eSports events, and fantastic to see them coming back week after week. On that point, let's give everybody a big shout out. A big shout out to Callum Reid, to Wayne, to I was going to say Alex Goldschmidt there, but nah, I don't like him. Dave Simon, who is in the chat, telling us about his problem with the internet connection. Craig Lax, Andrew Cadden, and Neil Ferrier. Yeah, what a race it's been. We hope you guys have enjoyed it. We certainly have, and we've got another 6 minutes left. I can't believe it's done already. It feels like literally just 10 minutes ago we were looking forward to the race and we were in qualifying.
Well, I mean, considering where we're ending up next, David, I mean, we've got another double 30 before the halfway point of the season. But
I didn't even think about it.
Yeah, and that is Donington Park. And you know what's really, really funny? I know that some of those people that and Callum says thanks for the shout out, by the way, David.
Oh yeah.
That's what you like. That's what you like to see. And he's given us a big thumbs up. But it's quite funny because when we come back for the double 30 at Donington in a couple of weeks' time, I will literally be going straight to bed afterwards because I've got an early flight to Europe because my European commentary season starts off again next week. So yeah. It's going to be quite interesting. Oh, now that was not what you wanted. And he's just gone off after. Well, he was alongside. He was with Rory Bryant, and yeah, it looks like Tom Jones has said died in both races. Could be worse though. Well, at least there's and that was on the YouTube channel. Yes, exactly. Silver lining behind the cloud, so to speak. But yeah, we're coming into the last 5 minutes, and Jack Ayres just doing a great job, and Martin Buchan having a good run in P2, having started from third place. So he was, so he would have effectively been 13th. So from his perspective, this will give him a few more points. But then you look at the other people, such as Jordan Gronkowski, who've had a howler in the second race. Here's Vic Covey and Sam Corson battling over 10th place. And Covey's got the run on Carson. That's a nice move through turn 11 and into the right-hand sweeper at turn 12. Great move by Vic Covey. I mean, he had a bit of... I mean, we remember him and Rory having the off-track excursion after our very first race of the season, which is like...
I want to see what's happened here, because poor Sean Dobie, he's given a spirited effort here, but it's just not been his race, has it? Too much power, too greedy on the throttle, and the car just fires itself around. Of course, not having a rear spoiler, you're not going to have any rear downforce, which just means it makes it far too easy to do that sort of thing. But bless Sean Dobie, he's still in the race, still going to get 19th position, which ultimately, it's all still points.
Yeah, just having a look a bit further down the field, Jacqueline Sharman's currently 16th, ahead of Logan Hanna, who looks set to get her best finish of the season so far, I believe. Currently in P17, Raymond Davies and Sean Dobie and Jordan Gronkowski rounding out the top 20. But then you just look at how much action that we've had in the last two races, and there is Jordan.
Oh no, you've jinxed it. Oh, have you? It just came up on my screen there that Logan Hanna crashed. So unless she's maybe just had a little spin there, the software does pick up pretty much anything untoward.
Just gone wide a little bit through turn 7. And has had a little bit of a...
Yeah, we'll let that one go.
But I think, well, Logan Hanna's actually pulled into the pits, I've just seen. Just there, so... Yeah, Logan Hanna has just pulled into the pits. So whether just probably...
You have just jinxed it, I think.
No, I was just about... Hey! Leave me alone, I've had a long week. Well, you have as well, but that's beside the point. But I just think it might have just be that... whether there's been an automatic software penalty, penalty thrown, or whether she's having to refuel a little bit, a bit of a splash and dash towards the end of the race. It can happen. But, Logan Hanna knows that she can do that and come out of the pits and have a couple of minutes ahead of Raymond Davies in P18 as John Lang trying to battle away with Vic Covey.
Now, we've got several battles now developing here, because we've got Ron Grossman, who's just 0.4 of a second behind Lewis Ward, but Scott Smith has had a bit of a moment as well, because he's now got Sam Harper right behind him as well. So this is real drama kicking off late into the race here.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, I'm looking at the times between Lewis Ward and Horseman here, David. Last lap around, Lewis Ward actually had a 1 minute 29.1, and Horseman did a 1 minute 28.9. So he is keeping pace, but I think he's going to run out of laps as Horseman, if I'm completely honest here.
Yeah, it looks that way because we're now, I think we're pretty close to our final lap here with a minute and a half left to go. In fact, just under or just over a minute there, and we see Sam Harper taking all of the curb that he possibly can, and they're side by side, but he backs out of it. Scott Smith lives to tell the tale in 6th place there. Lewis Ward, though, still 4/10 of a second in that battle for 3rd place. And let's have a look what is going to happen here, because Scott Smith is going to get the drag to Sam Harper. Sam Harper tries to fire it around the outside. It's not going to work.
No, it's a good move there by Scott Smith. Just keeping it where he needs to. But look at Harper. He gets a good run coming out of turn 7 as they'll head through the left-hand kink at turn 8 and head up towards turn 9. You can just see the amount of undulation here, which can sometimes, if you're going a bit too hot down it, you can actually cause the car to feel a bit unsettled, as they're going to now go down the dip after turn 9 into turns 10A and 10B. But, that was a bit brazen from Sam Harper, but he makes a mistake there, trying to go towards the outside of Scott Smith, and that gives him daylight. But we are now seconds away from hitting 30 minutes elapsed on the clock. Yep, and that is it.
A race leader already on to his final lap, then through into some traffic just now. Lewis Ward still just 2/10 of a second. That gap is now down to 2/10 of a second. So we've got real action all over the field. We've got Rory Bryant and Grant Angus duking it out as well. Grant Angus just takes Rory Bryant. That is the battle for 13th place right now. We'll go back to the battle for 3rd place just now between Lewis Ward and Ronald Grossman in just a second. Michael Weddle has just got past Jacqueline Chalmers. What an effort from Jacqueline Chalmers, 16th place, and what a race. Is Jacqueline Chalmers going to try and outbreak? What
that's
a move!
Doozy. That's a doozy.
Wow.
But Weddle went in a bit too hot. One good shot deserves another, Mr. Weddle, I'm afraid.
Right. He is going to get so much abuse in chat. Ronald Grossman, though, tries to take 3rd place up the inside of Lewis Ward. It's not going to be, and Jack Hare crosses the line to take the win for race number 2. Martin Buchan is going to come across the line. We haven't spoken about him. What a drive from the Pink Demon in 2nd place there. Lewis Ward is going to take 3rd place. 4th place for Ronald Grossman. What a fight for them at the end. Fraser Williamson is going to take 5th place. That could have been so different had he kept his aggression, had he kept his temper under check. Scott Smith is going to come across the line in 6th place. Very well deserved for him. Sam Harper is going to go across the line in 7th place. Peter Moore in 8th place there. 9th place for Cameron Ritchie. Vic Covey is going to come across the line in 10th place. 11th place will be for John Lang. We've got Sam Corson, Grant Angus and Rory Bryant side by side. Oh, there's contact again between the two of them, and it's going to be Grant Angus that is going to take P13 after a little bit of nudging and a little bit of door banging with Rory Bryant. That happened all the way through that final lap there. It's Grant Angus in 13th, Rory Bryant in 14th. But for me, what a result for Jacqueline Chalmers, 15th place. Going very, yes, across the line. I was panicking there that she was going very slow. Michael Weddle in 16th place. I cannot wait to rib him because he's had a bit of a howler on that race there. 17th place there for Logan Hanna, Raymond Davies in 18th place, and John Gronkowski DNF, Sean Doby DNF, Kieran Smart DNF, Chris Knox DNF, Tom Jones DNF, Anil Singh DNF, and Andrew Hopley DNF. We will have a quick confirmation of your results in just a second. We'll get the feature results up. Alex Goldschmidt, oh my goodness me, what a race.
And what a... It's quite funny how things turn in terms of tides, because by my calculations, as you can see, Jack Hare now will be 3rd in the championship on 205 points, having won the race here at Road America by a considerable margin from Martin Buchan. Lewis Ward will keep the standings by just a single solitary point by my estimation. Obviously, when we do come back in a couple of weeks' time, we will have the revised, but I'm pretty spot on with my maths most of the time. Ronald Korsman kept fighting with Lewis Ward until the bitter end. Fraser Williamson is in 5th ahead of Scott Smith, the only surviving Munich-powered wonder, the BMW M4 GT4 in 6th ahead of the recovering Sam Harper. Peter Moore having a good run in 8th ahead of Cameron Ritchie and Vic Covey rounding out the top 10. John Lang and Sam Corson in 11th and 12th ahead of Grant Angus, who nipped it in the bud and got past Rory Bryant with just a couple of corners to spare. As you said, great work by Jacqueline Chalmers. A great pair of races for the number 3 Porsche. Michael Weddle in the number 17 ahead of Logan Hanna. Raymond Davies in 18th position.
What a race, what a race. Let's go through the rest of the grid then and the results. John Gronkowski, DNF, 5 laps down. Sean Dobie, DNF, 6 laps down. Kieran Smart, Chris Knox, Tom Jones, Anil Singh and Andrew Hopley all retiring from the race. Alex, we're going to take a very short break in which me and you are going to discuss the Torque Raceware Driver of the Day. Keep it tuned. We will be back with some more driver interviews in just 2 minutes' time. Well, welcome back to the virtual recreation of Road America, where we are doing the post-race show. We get a little while to debrief and to work out what the heck we just watched there, because I don't know about you, Alex, but that was an amazing, amazing pair of races there.
In the words of Tom Coronel, Mamma Mia. There are no two other words that I can actually use to describe what has happened here at Road America. For those wondering a little bit more history, the person who holds the lap record around here was Dario Franchitti back in 2000. And that is a name you will associate very well with Scottish motorsport. And what a place to come to as well. I mean, it's been, hand on heart, the SMRC eSports Summer iRacing Championship Day has been completely, it's blown my mind. That's how good it's been so far, and I'm so pleased to be a part of it.
Yeah, and we're very, very happy to have you on board. But without further ado, I think it's time for us to announce the Torque Raceware driver of the day, and we were instant in our decision to this. We've kept our eye on one driver through the two races, and we've watched all of the shenanigans unfold. And for me personally, Alex, I know you've got your own reasons for it, but I've watched this driver week after week after week, and they've been consistent in the way that they've been developing and progressing with their handling of the car, and the fact that they managed to stay out of the trouble really just kind of solidified that one for me today. So our Torque Raceware driver of the day goes to none other than Jacqueline Chalmers. So congratulations, Jacqueline.
Yeah, a standout drive from her, just keeping things planted all the way through, not making mistakes, keeping it nice and clean, and just made a good run all the way through the two races. And I'm really pleased to see that, we can help sort of recognise her efforts. And just keeping with the same car. Some people have made the switch, but she's kept with the Porsche. She's stuck with it all the way through so far, and I'm looking forward to seeing how she develops from round 5 onwards as well.
Excellent stuff. So there we go. Torque Raceware driver of the day is done and dusted. Let's get some driver interviews, and I think we're going to have to go and chat with our race winner. So into the chat room comes none other than your race winner in race number 2, Mr. Jack here. Jack, good evening. Alex, take it away.
Well, firstly, Jack, many congratulations. I know it's the easiest first race here at Road America, but you came back from second on the grid. Got past Grant, and then from there it was a pretty comfortable race for you, wasn't it? Just tell us about your evening.
Well, to start it off, the qualifying run I did wasn't the ideal run. Fastest lap was on my first lap, and I kind of all but budged every other one. So bit on the back foot, but still in the top 5, so qualified 4th. I'm happy with that. I think the best I could have probably done is 3rd anyway, so it was all just about getting to the end. In race number 1, I was going to settle for a top 5, top 6, and I thought I'd just try and follow the guys. But I think it was Andrew Hopley that I was behind when I lost it, and it was just a case of taking a little bit too much curb in the little kink before the start finish line, and just unsettled the car. And when it landed, I was almost sideways. So lucky to not hit anything at the time, but then tried to flick it round. But unfortunately, ABS on these means I can't lock the front wheels, and I ended up just going straight back into the barrier, losing my rear wing. And yeah, no, surprisingly, it was only about a second and a bit off of my actual pace, minus the rear wing. So, but yeah, another mistake meant that I ended up 14th in race number 1, so very far from ideal. But again, silver lining, P2, race 2. Just dug deep, really. Knew I needed to do something at the start to kind of get ahead, so tried it around the outside, and then just kept my head down, trying to stop myself from looking at my relative, which tells me where everybody is in relation to me, and because I thought that was just going to put me off, and yeah, just got my head down and maintained the gap. So happy with this round.
Yeah, and obviously with the race victory now, because of the fact that you took 2 points in qualifying, this literally puts you 1 point. This is by my estimation. Puts you on, I think, 206 points apparently. Puts you a point behind Fraser Williamson and then a point further adrift from Jack Ward. So you three are separated by just 2 points heading into our next round. This championship has gotten even closer than I think anybody anticipated. We agree.
Well, it's way closer than I thought, because after the not ideal race 1 result, I thought I was going to be about 7 to 10 points behind anybody in the top 3. So no, that's definitely put a smile on my face as well. So that's the icing on the cake, really. We'll do a bit more practice before the next round. I only jumped into Road Atlanta last night, so not making it easy for myself, definitely.
So effectively, you were mate.
Yeah, definitely. It was just follow the car ahead kind of thing, and settle into a rhythm, and just race 2 was pure it's weird. It was like driving pure instincts, like not having a reference car ahead to use, but happy with it nonetheless.
Well done, Jack. We look forward to hopefully speaking to you next time out in a couple of weeks. Well done.
Thank you, guys. Take care.
So next up then is our race 1 dominator, and I think you're going to have fun with this one, Fraser Williamson, Alex.
Yeah. Hi, Fraser. Congratulations, first of all, on the race 1 victory, winning that quite comfortably. But it was a very different side of things, very different story in race 2. Obviously, there was the battling between yourself and Chris Knox and everyone else, and there was quite an intense battle. I think there were like 6 to 7 cars at one point where you're all battling over the same sort of position. Just tell us from your perspective, obviously, with the slight sort of contacts or the bits where we saw you going off track, heading up towards turns 2 and 3.
Well, the second time I should have seen it coming, but we'd been side by side from the chicane, so I thought, all right, he knows I'm here. He's got no excuse to not know I'm here. He's left from everywhere else. He'll leave from here, but no. But yeah, pretty much the Porsche can't overtake down the straight on a BM, especially after I got a bit of damage. So it was a matter of trying to pass turn 1, ascend at turn 3, or ascending the chicane. I couldn't get anything out of turn 5 just because the BM would pull enough on us. So it was really difficult to pass them, which makes me quite fearful for the rest of the reverse grids for the rest of the season. Because we've got 3 tracks out the final 4 with quite long main straights. But yeah, it was just intense, and I don't know. I don't know the word for it, but it was gloves off. That's a nice way of putting it. It turned sour. Yeah,
okay. Now that's completely understandable. But I think one of the highlight moves from yourself personally was when you got the double right at 6 and 7. Can't remember who you stuck it up the inside of, but you did an absolute pearly. You timed it. So coming out of turn 5 on the run down to 6, and I think it might have been Chris or it might have been Scott. I'm not too sure.
Was it the black and yellow Porsche?
That might have been Rory that you did that up the inside of. Then possibly. But that was a great move.
Yeah, that was Rory. Yeah, I'm just glad he left me room because that was a bit of a send, to be honest. I knew that I could keep it.
Did you channel your inner Daniel Ricciardo on that? Did you?
Not deliberately, but I was like, I at this point already had that straight line damage, so even against another Porsche,
yeah,
I had unless I was on his bumper pushing him, I had nothing. So I knew into there I could try and get it up the inside and then back up turn 7, so I had a bit of a run so I could defend for the chicane. Thankfully, he spotted it coming and left the room. But yeah, I'm just glad I didn't wash out on him at all.
That's fair enough. I'm just speaking to Jack just a moment ago that I've made some provisional calculations, obviously with any sort of inquiries post race evening, that you were leading the championship effectively by a 4-point swing after winning race 1 and taking maximum 5 points in qualifying for putting it on pole. But I've calculated that between Lewis, yourself, and Jack, the top 3 are just split by 2 points. And I asked Jack, did you think it was going to get that close? And I don't think any of us, myself or Dave, would probably be included. David would be included in that. What are your thoughts on that? Just three of you separated by 2 points going into the next round at round 5 in a couple of weeks.
I was really hoping it would be this close, considering what I had a 20-point lead 3 races ago.
Uh-huh.
So, yeah, knowing that I've got Monza and Bathurst the final 2, albeit we're all in Porsches,
yeah,
that's going to be a case of who gets least affected by BMWs.
Mm-hmm.
Interlagos and Donington, it should be a fight between us, I'd hope so. The last 2 is just going to be a lottery, especially that 1-hour Bathurst race, because if a BM gets to the front, a Porsche isn't passing.
Yeah. Well, Fraser, thank you very much for your time. All the very best of luck next time out in a couple of weeks.
Cheers.
Let's see, next up then we have got our only other interviewee, which is Mr. Scott Smith, so we'll bring him in just now.
Well, Scott, that was a very interesting second race. You were in the thick of things, Chris, Fraser, quite a few other drivers as well, but you managed to be the sole remaining BMW out of the 4 that were competing, obviously with Chris and Kieran retiring due to damage, and also Andrew Hopley being taken out earlier on in the race. How was the BMW around here? Because I saw that Fraser quite easily pointed this out, and I think I made a note of it as well, that the BMW had the legs on the Porsche down the straightaways, didn't it?
Oh yeah, 100%. And I was actually surprised by that. Obviously, I knew that the Porsche was strong in the corners and the BMW is good in a straight line, but it just shows so much here. If you get the double right correct before you're coming up the big back straight, you just get the run on the Porsche, and yeah, you can be having them coming into the chicane. So the outright top speed of it is just, yeah. I mean, that's one of the things that really shocked me, the fact that I could fight with Fraser, one of the top runners in this whole entire series. I'm one of the back BMWs, and to hold my own against the top guy in a Porsche, yeah, that's got to be at least some of the car.
And also, one of the other good things was that the BMW had very good corner speed as well. And when we were seeing, I think, what was it? I think Chris was trying to get up the inside of somebody, and then you nearly made it 3 wide going into turn 1. And then we come to the crest of turn 2, and Chris is inside of everybody, pretty much, and he's put it 4 wide. I know that you guys are like really good friends off track and everything, but it is all-out war out on circuit, and that was a clear indication just what we could expect in the latter part of the season.
Oh, 100%. I mean, the whole season, I definitely say that my gloves are going to be off. There's points on the board still to be won. Anything can happen up front, so I'm still going to give it my all. The battle with Chris in race 1 as well was absolutely brilliant, and then to be paired up alongside him for race 2 and battling with him as well, that was just phenomenal. We were back and forward, and then yeah, he had that unfortunate. That was then Kieran got in the mix, sorry, and then I think it was Kieran that had then the unfortunate incident with Fraser. I get tangled up a wee bit in that, but luckily came off with no damage, regained control, composure, and then just get the head down. That's when Fraser was then regaining on me again, because I guess he was off. So it was just try and keep Finn Fraser off. He kind of he made the move. He was making his intentions well known. He was going for it. So I gave him that wee bit of space, and then once he got by me, I just started kind of watching the rear view mirror and seeing Sam approaching, and then just thought, right, this is my race here. I'm going to need to just fend Sam off, and Sam actually got the legs on me and was gaining ground on me. And I think it was the second last lap he made a mistake in that double right, and that was it. I got a 1.5 second lead on him in that back straight, and as we're saying, the BMW being that much quicker, I mean, I was happy I was running away with that at that point.
Well, Scott Smith, who is now currently you're 16th in the standings, it looks like now, on 86 points. You've gone up a position in the overall standings. Scott, thank you very much for talking to us. All the very best of luck next time out.
Superb, guys.
Excellent, good stuff. Thank you very much, Scott. Right, so as you can see, I think I've got the point system working. So this is all work in progress. You know, you're seeing it all live unfolding before you. But yeah, if they are correct, then obviously we will keep them. But it looks that way because I had no idea it was so close at the top of the championship there.
Well, that's the thing about using mental arithmetic and a calculator at very quick notice.
Does that tie up with what you were saying?
Yeah, exactly. Because Jack Eyre, I forgot the fact I realised and I went 2:04. No, he got P4 in quali. So yeah, the top 3, ladies and gentlemen. Lewis Ward leading by a single solitary point ahead of Fraser Williams, who is in turn a point ahead of Jack Eyre. Top 3, David. That is after what is now 7 races.
Absolutely incredible. I mean, what do you say to that? The fact that not only that, given that we've got still some pretty big rounds to come up here, there are a lot of points on offer. But even look at that battle for 7th, 8th, and 9th place. In fact, even 10th place there, split by 6 points.
That's how much this championship means to so many people. And when you look at it from the bigger picture, you can see that everyone has just gone sort of like thinking, I'm just having a look in the...
Oh yeah, I just saw that there. That's, right, okay. In fact, who was that there?
in the Discord
Oh,
chat.
sorry, I thought you were looking at the stream. I think that was after the race, one of the cars. That might have been Fraser Williamson just deciding to end it all there in the most spectacular fashion. That was epic, actually. Let's go and enjoy that, because you often do that after the end of the race, just to say, go
straight off of turn 3. Yeah, I'm sorry. That was as our good friend Mr. Scott Woodwiss would say, that was a proper yeet into the barrier.
That was yeeting with style. Right. That is us then, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very, very much for joining us. We have been, of course, David Christie and Alex Goldschmidt. We will leave you with the sight of Fraser Williamson upside down, sidewards on his roof, and we will be back next time with another thrilling race. We promise you that. Donington Park next time. Join us in a couple of weeks' time, and we will see you from then. Thank you very much for joining us, and take care.